Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dogara Yakubu, says President Muhammadu Buhari was reorganizing the nation's security architecture to address the ongoing security challenges in the country. Dogara stated this in an interview with journalists after a meeting he and the Senate President Bukola Saraki had with the President at the presidential villa in Abuja. The Speaker noted that the President briefed them on what he saw firsthand when he visited a troubled state and the measures he was putting in place to forestall reoccurrence. It would be recalled that some suspected herdsmen had invaded a village in Plateau State, killing over 100 individuals and destroyed properties over the weekend. According to the Speaker, the President has taken enough steps which will not be discussed in the public, but will ensure that the security structure is reorganized so that such attacks will be checked.
A presidential hopeful on the platform of Social Democratic Party (SDP), Professor Femi Olufumilade, has drawn support for the creation of state police as part of measure to address numerous security challenges confronting the country. Professor Femi said this at the public presentation of his book titled "For the Good of the People of Nigeria" in Abuja. He said there's urgent need for state police creation to complement the operation of the federal police.
Those who are much older will tell you that this country used to have 3 layers of police force. You have the native authority police, the regional police, and the federal police. During the Civil War, the 2 lower layers were mobilized as part of the exigency of war as soldiers. They were given some crash training and they were deployed into the field. And that was the end of native authority police and regional police. And that was how we were left with only the federal police. But today, I will give you a simple illustration to tell you that one doesn't need to be a genius to know the way to go if we want to tackle the problem of insecurity. The so-called federal police today is largely funded by state governments. Go to any state in the country, you will see, as a matter of routine, governors spending billions on the police formation within their respective jurisdictions. They will buy patrol vans, they buy cardigan, torchlights. I think the only thing, they buy gunboats. If you go to River State, they buy gunboats. There was even a time they bought patrol helicopters in River State. And that is the pattern nationwide. So why can't we then accommodate state police?
Speaking on his presidential ambition, Professor Femi said he will pay adequate attention on agriculture in order to wipe out hunger in Nigeria.
One of the first things I'm going to do, and that I'm going to put a lot of resources into, if you have read my book, my presidential policy book, For the Good of Our People, is you cannot talk of you are constructing road, you are fighting insecurity when a lot of people are hungry. The bane of insecurity is hunger and anger. A lot of youths are frustrated. Agriculture is one area where I'm going to deploy enormous resources. And through agriculture, I'll be able to solve a lot of problems all at once. One, the value chain, the agricultural value chain will generate a lot of jobs, put a lot of idle hands to good use. Two, it will be able to generate a lot of revenue because the easiest resource at our disposal and the cheapest and available resource is land, arable land. We have it anywhere you are traveling in this country, you see hectares upon hectares of uncultivated land. We have enormous potentials in agriculture. So the entire value chain from cropping to agro-processing to agro-marketing and agro-exports will be totally utilized, will be optimally tapped into.
Professor Femi Olufumilade said he's taking a shot at the presidency to rescue the nation from the hand of the old politician. From Abuja, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting. The new national chairman of ruling All Progressive Congress (APC), Adams Oshiomhole, has asked President Muhammadu Buhari to direct former President Olusegun Obasanjo to refund the sum of $16 billion allegedly spent on power if he cannot justify the expenses. Oshiomhole said this in Abuja at APC National Secretariat when John Odige Oyegun formally handed over the mantle of the party leadership to him, saying Obasanjo should be alive to face prosecution. He said the APC will continue to provide support for the president to be courageous in the fight against corruption.
I watched our president recently asking questions rhetorically. You have spent 16 billion PDP under the first president on power. And our president said, where is power? For emphasis, he repeated, where is the power? Nigerians in their various homes, those who have power that day or generator, said, Mr. President, we don't have. So $16 billion spent. The more dollars they spend, the more darkness the people suffer. Now the question I do in my mind is that, okay, maybe because the president has not yet proceeded to now ask the follow-up question, since we don't find the power, then you must bring the 16 billion that you spent. If he doesn't do that, then the accusation of limited anti-corruption may begin to have some currency. So to assist PDP to overcome this, our president needs to do the needful. After all, it's already on record. What other president did he do with regards to the issue of MKO Abiola and the criminal manner in which the election was nullified, that people pretended that that was never an issue? Our president showed courage. That same courage should not fail him, so that he can proceed to recover the 60 billion back into the treasury from the man who superintended over the spending of that money.
Meanwhile, the APC chairman said he will continue to count on the support of his predecessor in office, John Oyegun.
I guess you might wish now that you are going to be less busy, you will still be busy, because I'm going to trouble you, sir. I can't let you trick at old age. I'm going to trouble you about advice, about things I see and how you think we should deal with them. You know, you can be elected to a position, but age is not by election. That is by God. And there is wisdom associated with aging. And if one has the kind of pedigree that you have, what you have going for you is not just age, it's also experience in various facets of life.
The former chairman, John Oyegun, in his remarks said he was confident in the ability of Oshiomhole to achieve more victory in the forthcoming elections. He also said he has put together a detailed handover note that will guide the new chairman on some critical issue concerning the party.
My duty today is brief and short, and that is to introduce you basically to what is now your property, your headquarters, your building, and your office, and to go through the formality of a handover. I have put my thoughts briefly on paper. I didn't want to make it long because, thank God, you have some of the best minds who have survived the electoral process and will be working with you. So I have everything I thought important on paper here. One of the attachments, Chief of Staff, I think they deserve to be on the table here, which include an inventory of everything in this building, a list. It includes the papers for the purchase of this building. It includes, of course, a full list of the staff that you will be working with. It includes a full list of all the minutes of the National Working Committee.
From Abuja, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting.
The second international conference on lead poisoning associated with artisanal gold mining in Nigeria has opened in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. The three-day conference focused on developing preventive governance framework that will ensure safe mining practices in the country. Declaring open the conference, Vice President Yemi Osibanjo faulted the ongoing efforts by various stakeholders in the mining sector towards curtailing the acute lead poisoning, which has killed over 400 children in Zamfara and Niger states. In 2010, over 15,000 people were exposed to lead poisoning. An estimated 400 to 500 children lost their lives due to the outbreak, and in 2014, another outbreak of lead poisoning was reported in 2 villages in Niger State, where nearly 30 children lost their lives. Osibanjo explained that while the federal government has pursued a national gold purchase scheme, as well as the development of a national gold policy, gold mining in Nigeria is currently dominated by artisanal miners using rudimentary mining methods and crude processing techniques.
Gold mining in Nigeria, as we've heard repeatedly, is currently dominated by artisanal miners using rudimentary mining methods and crude processing techniques. The obvious consequence is the exposure of miners, the environment and local communities to serious danger. In areas where gold ores contain high concentration of heavy metals like lead, exposure to the dust released from these metals as a result of the crude processing techniques leads to serious health consequences, not just for the persons directly involved in the mining, but also for all of the neighboring areas and communities. Children, of course, are the ones most at risk of death and disability.
Abubakar Bawa Buhari, Minister of Mines and Steel Development, said efforts are on by the federal government on the collaboration of foreign and multi-sectoral assistance to bring an end to lead poisoning in the country. He said the devastating nature of the incidences in Zamfara and Niger calls for a multi-professional approach to prevent further occurrence.
We are also determined to encourage the establishment of gold processing zones away from residential areas, while also increasing the capacity of artisanal miners to use safer mining and processing methods such as borax and Igoli methods. We have continued to pursue with vigor our formalization exercise that groups artisanal miners into licensed cooperatives and support them with working tools and training on the use of safer mining and processing methods. We've also ensured the continuous monitoring of our small-scale and artisanal mining operation for the purpose of monitoring lead and other heavy metals in the land, air and water to prevent lead and other heavy metal contamination of the environment. Clearly, the only effective long-term solution in ending further exposure is through behavioral change brought about by continuous enlightenment campaign, the use of appropriate and economically feasible technologies achievable through working partnership between the ASMs and financially and technically competent mining investors.
Will produce a federally coordinated prevention plan that leverages all the lessons learned so far and bring local, state, and federal authorities as well as civil society and the corporates into alignment. We must avoid working in silos and expect to solve the problems, especially because these problems cut across sectors and disciplines. I strongly believe that a carefully thought out and comprehensive national plan that focuses on populations and communities most vulnerable to lead poisoning associated with artisanal gold mining will yield the desired results.
Awesome Raffle, Ben Television.
Some members of the All Progressive Congress APC in Imo State has accused the state governor Rochas Okorocha of colluding with the chairman of the convention committee of the party, Governor Abubakar Badaru of Jigawa State, to manipulate the election into the position of National Organizing Secretary of the party. According to the results, Emmanuel Ibedro polled 1,747 votes to unseat the incumbent Osita Izunaso, who polled 1,459 votes in one of the most keenly contested elections at the convention held over the weekend in Abuja. Spokesman for the APC stakeholder in Imo State, Tio Ekechi, at the press conference in Abuja, claimed that Governor Baduro compromised in favor of his brother governor to remove the incumbent Osita Izunaso.
From the above presentations, it is obvious that the National Convention Chairman, His Excellency, Governor Badaru, clearly compromised in the discharge of his duty, at least with respect to the election of National Organizing Secretary. He was guided and guided by his friend and brother Governor, Rochas Okorocha. This act is a terrifying disservice, very terrifying disservice to the image and character of a progressive party which since its birth strives to be a pace-setter in transparency and due process, and a party that we are all committed to and that we are all proud of.
He explained that the build-up to the convention, Governor Rochas Okorocha has openly opposed the re-election bid of Izunaso. Tio also said Imo delegates were denied right to vote for the office of National Organizing Secretary during the just concluded convention in order to deny Osita Izunaso victory.
In the case of Imo State, Governor Badaru unequivocally demonstrated his bias, compromise, and prejudice against the candidacy of Senator Osita Izunaso and his unhidden support for the sponsored candidate of his brother governor, Rochas Okorocha. Imo State 226 duly accredited and seated delegates were willfully and skillfully excluded from voting by the convention chairman, Governor Badaru. May I emphasize that this is Senator Osita Izunaso's home catchment state. The Imo State delegates were duly screened at the Old Parade Ground by Mrs. Ireti Kinkibe, along with many other states, as duly and officially announced by the convention committee much earlier before the convention date. After our screening and in accordance with the convention guidelines, the Imo delegates were accordingly transported with designated buses to the convention venue and thereafter escorted to the Imo Pavilion. It is therefore to the shock of the Imo delegates and the Southeast in general that Governor Badaru, after so much prevarications, announced that himself, Rochas Okorocha, and the endorsed Southeast aspirant, Senator Osita Izunaso, had reached a consensus that for peace to reign, the Imo delegates will not be voting.
Meanwhile, the immediate past National Organizing Secretary of APC, Osita Isnaso, is about to file a petition before the appeal committee of the party. From Abuja, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting.